Go
Okay,
ahead.
welcome everybody. Um, my name is Eric Slater. So Robert Thomas is on, and Andre Thompson. Um, I'm just gonna do some introductory remarks, and then Robert and Andre are gonna speak. Um, what I understand is what we're trying to do here is give an update to our coworkers from the mass membership meeting happened a couple days ago. We're recording this on Thursday. It's the 4th.
You breaking up on my end, Rob.
Okay. I think if it's okay on Robert's side, then I'm going to go forward because I think that's what everyone's going to listen to. It might be your internet access, Andre. Can you hear me okay, Robert?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm going to continue going. So this is a message for coworkers, A2 241 members, A2 members. It's a basically report back from what happened at the mass membership meeting on the 2nd, and I hope that we can talk about some of the issues that were brought up and some of the burning issues we're facing among our coworkers, retirees, unjustly fired workers. Okay, so there was a meeting on May 2nd. Robert and I came, Andre came as well to the meeting at 10 a.m. Andre was barred from coming. He can talk about that if he wants. Really, I think there should be really open. Our union meetings should be much more open than they are, especially to workers who are really trying to help the union. Been here for many years. Andre, of course, was a former board member, is a former board member. There's many other people who have been removed from being able to even listen to the mass membership meeting, which is really wrong. I mean, I think Robert can talk more about this, I hope, but there was very few rank and file members present. There was probably 30 people maybe in the meeting eventually, and I think almost all of them were in one way or another paid to be there, either as part-time executive board members, stewards, or officers. It was notable that the two of the three top officers were not present. I believe they said they were at a union ATU meeting down south, and so it started. There was only maybe 3 or 4 rank and file workers there, and that's a really bad sign for the union. I think Robert could talk more about this, but I think what's going on is many workers are just fed up and frustrated with the union and the direction it's been going, the leadership and its misleadership. And a lot of people have given up from going to meetings at all. And that's a very unhealthy situation. The officials who were there was the President Hill, there was reporting financial secretary Tiana Gatewood, second vice president Michelle Townsend was present. And Michelle didn't say much. The other 2 fellows, they didn't have much to say. They read the report. The board meeting was the report of the board meeting was again very bare bones. It just said people were present. They voted to end the meeting, start the meeting, and accept the reports. Again, this is an unacceptable report. It's either one of 2 things. It's either the board is not doing anything or not discussing anything, and we have burning issues, which we'll discuss in a minute, or this is being improperly accounted for by the reporting financial secretary. Either way, it's a big problem. I've been a board member for over 100 board meetings. Andre's been a board member a long time. We haven't seen board meeting minutes like this before, to my recollection. In the last 17 years, I've been a member of A2 Local 241. Okay, so one thing I think is useful to repeat what the officers said. They said that we're going to be switching to Sedgwick, back to Sedgwick, in a few days, next month, I believe, starting next month. And just be careful that you don't lose your FMLA stuff with the Reed group. You may lose stuff in the transition. So make sure you keep your own copies of things, and make sure once it switches over that it actually is working, because you could end up getting behavioral violations and misses AWOLs, etc. Okay, so a few things. I think some people have posted the report by President Hill and the other officers, and I hope people ask questions once this is posted. I hope people ask questions to anyone who wants to answer them, frankly, about what's happening. To take a look at the report, and they bring up issues about it. But some of the things that are not on the report, I wanted to make sure we talked about. So basically, after the president gives his report, there was the second vice president gave a report. The financial reporting secretary gave a report. Robert can talk about some of the things. He brought up some issues about the LM2, and I think he can talk about that. I brought up the issue, one of the issues about the unsafe leaving of the union meeting. I brought him up on the minutes when this was not even mentioned that there was a problem. Members had a problem with the way that they were forcing members to go out the back alleyway, and not go through the same way they came in. It really does appear to be this is just a simple disrespectful move, trying to demean anyone who comes to the meeting, who's not part of the Hill clique, who's paid to be there to vote alongside him and his dictates. So we saw that, of course, as we've seen many other meetings, when they didn't want to hear one of us speak, they would make a motion to end debate. This is their favorite bureaucratic tactic. And if they have people that are paid to be there, then they're just told to follow whatever the chairman says. That's one of the reasons why we need to have a lot of members in attendance. That's why they don't want members in attendance. Make it very difficult. Okay, so other thing that was brought up in new business at the very end of the meeting, it was a relatively short meeting. I think it was less than 2 hours. Was the apparent unfair labor practice victory of 20 unions regarding the vaccine terminations in the city of Chicago. And so I just want to talk about that briefly, as fast as I can. President Hill and Robert, if you want to post the apparently President Hill sent to the executive board and stewards a ruling by an arbitrator. And I was a board member when President Hill went to arbitration. So yeah, Robert, if you have it, go ahead and put it up now. And basically what he said is, look, this is what he said to the board. This is maybe a year or so ago when we were first being forced to take the vaccine. And International President Costa encouraged the locals to negotiate. Actually, if you can, let people look at the front of it, but it's actually the very end of it that's probably the only thing that's important. It's like 2 sentences. Basically said we lost. You can read all this stuff, and I posted it up on Facebook. Anyone who wants it can have it. But yeah, it says, if you look on the end of that big paragraph, an employee who does not take the required steps to comply with policy within the 7-day period shall be removed from service and referred to the general manager for discharge consideration. Except as expressed above, the grievances are denied. And I think the basic thing they got was, I think, 4 hours pay, which was what the CTA wanted to do anyway. It basically said things like it's going to postpone. Workers have the right to appeal on a few bases, and if those appeals fail, they still get fired. And that's what happened to many workers. So I just wanted to bring this up because I think it's a good showcase of the failure of this form of unionism. So President Hill, he's not instructed, but encouraged by the international unions to bargain. So at the last minute, I'm sure he's getting hundreds of phone calls, text messages from scared coworkers who don't want to take this vaccine for legitimate reasons, and I will not do it. And as we know, he said there was 70 workers, perhaps less, that are currently fired because out of our membership, there's 70 families because of this policy. And they felt that it was such an unsafe situation that they couldn't take it. Many of these workers were willing to take a test once a week. I've worked at several workplaces since I've been unjustly fired, and several of those places will just let you test once a week or every 2 weeks. It's not that big of a deal, and you can keep your job. This arbitration ruling didn't allow that, and so even though the federal government was allowing workers to test, this arbitration order actually lost rights for us. So let's just real quickly how this happened. So the 20 unions that just won this arbitration ruling through, or not arbitration ruling, unfair labor practice through the labor board, what they basically argued, I'm not a lawyer here, but and I haven't seen all the issues, but what I understand from the press, what I've read, is that management or the city did not bargain as is required with the union. And they unilaterally changed the working conditions significantly, including hundreds of workers who were fired. And so because they didn't bargain with the union, even though the union was willing to and wanted to, then the unfair labor practice, the administrative law judge says you have to bring these workers back. You have to pay them their back pay, and that's a victory for those 20 unions and perhaps hundreds of workers, many hundreds of workers. And this is going on in other parts of the country and the world as well. So what our union did, unfortunately, is our union didn't do it. Our president did it. With our authority, is he instructed, and I asked him during the meeting. I asked him, please confirm this, and he did. That he went to arbitration. He went to negotiate. Management refused to negotiate, and then punted to arbitration without bringing it to us. It didn't have a mass membership meeting to discuss the issue, and that actually harmed us. It backfired, and we could have done many other things other than that. The basic thing that should have been happening is we should have a discussion about this emergency issue immediately. I had a few other things I wanted to bring up. That wasn't the most important. I think the burning issues that we're facing right now are definitely staffing, the understaffing, so management's claiming, the overwork that's caused by that, obviously the violence that we're facing by directly frontline transit workers, harassment by management. One thing that was brought up at the end of the meeting by President Hill, I'm going to quote from my notes here. He said that according to Hill, the CTA claims that 1,800 people, that CTA was short 1,800 bus workers for ATU 241 going into November. 1,800. That's a huge amount. And now they're claiming they only have 900 people short. And he said that doesn't make any sense, and I agree with him. He said there was only 21 people, were a net gain of 21 workers in, I believe it was March, and then 72 net gain in April. And as many frontline workers will know, a lot of workers are being hired and they're quitting pretty quickly. And so even though CTA and the union officials are trying to get workers to be hired, they're offering them retention bonuses, right? We're offering, or the CTA is offering hiring bonuses of $1,000, and they're increasing the wages, etc. They're not able to because of the extreme frustration of the ranks, because of the low morale, because of the union politics that is a dead end. And so I wanted to give a few more updates, but I was hoping other people could talk first, and then I can bring some other things up. I hope maybe if Robert could talk about his thoughts, and then I can come back in.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, that'll work, Eric. Robert, I'm good now. So, but if you can go ahead on and go if you want.
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Okay.
Hello, members. So I attended the meeting that was held on May 2nd, Tuesday. It was a very short meeting. We wrapped it up in 1 hour tops. There was 3 members out of 6,000 members. It was only 3 members at this meeting. That's a shame. To wrap it up, it was real sweet. The top officers read their reports. We went to new business, old business, and we adjourned the meeting. During new business, I asked questions regarding the LM2. They got several things. They have several items on the LM2 that are questionable. The first one is a law firm by the name of Kenwood Legal Advocates. This law firm doesn't exist on Google or any search engine. It's highly suspicious. I asked about that. The president claimed, oh, it's legal, it's legit, and trust me, the U.S. Department of Labor checked it out and verified it before we submitted our LM2 report. And I said, well, are they on a different name or something? And then I even went one step further. I asked him, well, what's one of the attorneys that's there? And he said Marty Stacks. And that name rang a bell. And it's very questionable that he said that name, because that name is a lawyer that used to work for CTA, that then started being a lawyer for the ATU and got fired by the ATU. So that name is very questionable. Another thing I asked the president was, why is William B. Pierce listed as a warden on this LM2 report when I never seen him act in that capacity? And he claimed he was a warden. He's been a warden. And recently I checked the website and he's not listed as a warden. They have 2 new wardens on the website. So those are just 2 of the questions that I asked. And I'll wrap it up. Members, we need to come to these meetings. They're doing a lot of things behind our back. backdoor discussions, and we need to come and we need to stay involved, because this union, with these meeting minutes, the way he's taking them, he's basically telling us, I'm getting paid 6 figures, but I don't have to do job. I don't have to take accurate minutes. I don't have to give a report. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. Members, we got to wake up and we got to get involved. I'm gonna let Andre talk.
Okay. How everybody doing this evening? My name is Andre Thompson. I work out 103rd. I have been working for the CTA since 1988. I've been full-time since 1992. Now, this is the problem that's going on. Members, I'm just going to keep it real. If y'all don't understand what's going on, I'm finna tell it to y'all in plain and simple English. Y'all being railroaded. Y'all being railroaded out of y'all union, and y'all don't even realize it. Keith got all these board members and stewards in line, and all of them don't come to the meeting. So that I'm not counting everybody, but majority. It's all about the majority rules when it comes down to the union meeting. So the majority is down there ruling, and then you got myself, a couple of other people. But this union meeting was poorly attended, and I can understand why. It was only like 3 members down there. The rest was executive boards, union stewards, and top officers down there. So basically, the 3 that was in there had no power, no say so, no nothing. I couldn't even attend the union meeting because Keith have decided that I can't come to the union meeting, and it's because of dues not being paid. And it's just been brought to me this month. I have no letter from them other than I'm suspended from lack of dues. And because I'm not at work. And in the past, when you injured on duty or you in the sick book, and if you don't pay your dues, you pay them when you come back. And that's exactly what the letter's saying to me. When you come back to work, you can pay your dues up, because I'm only a couple of months behind because I'm not at work. So I'm not going to pay dues if it's not being deducted out my check. You understand what I'm saying? I could pay dues, but the check is not big enough if it's a sick check or injured on duty check to pay dues. And I have been injured on duty in the past, and I've been sick in the past, and I've always paid my dues when I return to work. So this particular time, because it's me, they don't want me in that union meeting, y'all. And guess what? They don't want y'all in the union meeting. And that's why y'all not there, because you got to pay for parking. You're being disrespected. You're a human being of Local 241 paying $75 a month to be in the union, and they disrespecting y'all by making you leave out the back door. And I would never do it. Now, the 3 that went there, they didn't want to cause no smoke, so they left out the back door. But I'm not going to do it, and he knew it. So, because I called the police last time to get out the front door, and I left my little tail out the front door like I supposed to, like a man supposed to, like a member supposed to, like a person with dignity supposed to. Why would I go out the back door where it's dangerous, it's uneven ground, it's garbage out there, it smells, you can get robbed, and I didn't come in through the back door. They don't come in through the back door. So, members, don't allow Keith to tell you you got to go out the back door. That's a statement. You need to put up a protest. When he's telling you leave out the back door, what can he do? Only thing he can do is call the police, and the police going to escort you out the front door. They're not going to escort you out the back door, and I'm not going to allow them. If it come down to me, arrest me and arrest me and take me to your car out the front door. At least I'm going out the front door like a man. And so Keith's so concerned about the safety. He is not concerned about the safety of this membership. The safety issue was extremely weak to me. And I understand some of the issues are valid, but he really wasn't talking about nothing but lighting that's not happening, gates that wasn't happening right now. He's not talking about the attacks on the bus. He's not talking about the shootings. He's not talking about what's actually going to be done, what's actually being done. He's making statements what he wish, and we all wish we had armed guards and police riding buses, but that's a wish. And right now we need to see what's actions being taken. And as far as I'm concerned, at Local 241, there are no actions being taken. There are no rallies. There are no organizations. There are no organizations of membership mobilizing them to take to the streets, to shut down cities, busy cities downtown, busy streets downtown. And that's what needs to happen to get the attention on the operators' safety, the operators' morale, the operator's sanity, the operator's mental capacity. You got operators in the past. Just had one operator kill the person. You know what I'm saying? Because he was at work. You had another operator unloaded a gun. So something's going on where these operators feel at work. We need some type of programs. We need the same kind of programs that the police have or schools have when they're going through things, real counseling, not just somebody showing up and sitting around and then they leave and you put up a purple thing. So members, it's very important that you attend these union meetings. I'm gonna tell you why, because they down there railroading you. These executive boards and stewards, they are mindless. They are voting everything that Keith put down their throat without a thought. They support members going out the back door, and you elected them to serve you, not treat you with no dignity at all. What kind of person goes out the back door after coming in and entering through the front? And guess what, members? Y'all probably don't understand this, but y'all own everything down there. Y'all own the building. Y'all own the money. Y'all pay their high salaries. Keith making $140,000. And as far as Tion need to be brought up on charges, you all. He is not doing his job. He is not taking any minutes. He's being very disrespectful. He's not giving you the financial health of the local at all. He telling Eric or somebody, I believe it was Eric or somebody in there, well, you know, this is the business. That's why I don't have to take any notes on that. It's in your reports. No, that's their reports of what they're doing. The business of the financial health need to be talked about, need to be voted on, and the process of grievance need to be talked about, need to be voted on. All that's being taken away from you. And if you don't come down to these union meetings, you're gonna continue to get railroad, and they down there stealing your money. They've been stealing your money. The $120,000 they got they got stole a long time ago. They closed the case in your mind, but nobody know what took place. Don't nobody know what took place. Don't nobody know who the criminals are. Don't nobody know how they stole the check. Don't nobody know who paid the money back. You know, as far as I'm concerned, the insurance paid the money back because we are bonded and insured. So the insurance company paid the money back, but they didn't return the money. And it's a lot more to that story. It was $40,000 in that Chase account. Nobody talked about that. And then right now you're under police investigation. A girl got arrested down there. And this is live, y'all. This is real. This is recent. She got arrested while she was on duty at Local 241. She got charged, and now it's under federal investigation. And so now she had to deal with the feds, and so do Keith. And guess what? All this happening down in that office, in my belief. So members, you need to step up. You need to come down to this union meeting. It's very important. Tion is not doing his job. He is over $6 million. This dummy, disrespectful, little angry man, no. You know, he getting $140,000 to be disrespectful from the members? No. We got to do better than this. And what's happening to me is all immoral. Could I say illegal? I probably could, but I got to go through Illinois Labor Relations charge. I got to write COSTA, and it's going to take a little while, or I got to pay my union dues, which I am not, because I'm not returned to work. Once I return to work and I'm making my full check, I'll pay my union dues, one or the other. But I should be able to come to the meeting, even if I'm suspended. I should be able to come in and attend the meeting, have a voice. In other words, ask questions. I just wouldn't be able to make any motions or take a vote. But Keith that decided, no, you can't come to the union meeting. And the little coward wouldn't even say nothing to me. Tion doing all the talking. He don't know what he talking about half the time, talking like he don't understand what he's saying. So this is what's going on, members. Y'all need to attend the next month's meeting, which is June. Oh, yeah. You need to attend the June meeting. Maybe one of these members will come around and bring charges up on Tion and Keith. I don't know. But this definitely need to happen. Maybe not next month, but we need to get together and start putting some pressure on these guys for not doing what they're getting paid for. Keith is very tyrant type of leader or misleader. So Robert, I don't know how long I've been talking. I'm gonna throw it back to you. Eric, you got any questions?
I'm just gonna say a couple things that happened to me before the meeting started. I looked at the financial books that they leave at the table where the top officers sit, and Claudel Kane was watching me the whole time, and Gilkey told Michelle Townsend to watch me as well. And I found that very disrespectful. He's standing right next to me while I'm looking at the financial records. And they got this house Negro directing us out the back door after the meeting was over with, as well. So we can't go through the front door. But I saw Jack Ramp and I saw other executive board members going out the front door, but the members got to go out the back door. So we definitely got to get rid of that fool Claudel Kane. He's definitely got to go. He's one of Keith Hill's flunkies, and he's got to go. Thank you.
I'd like to say something else, if it's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, another thing that took place, I forgot to bring it up in my conversation, the LM2. It's really a lot of stuff going on with that LM2. And the whole thing about the LM2, they don't want you to know about it because Keith promised us last union meeting when I attended, well, we're going to pass out the LM2 to the members and we're going to discuss it. They didn't even bring it up. Only ones who brought it up was Robert, but he brought up a question. But Keith did not give the members, the 3 members there, LM copies of LM2, and a lot of board members don't even understand what LM2 is, or a lot of the stewards don't understand what it is. They probably never even looked at it. So basically, anything that comes through financially, even if it's immoral, wrong, or illegal, they okaying everything. The entire board need to be brought up on charge because what's happening is they okaying these minutes from Tion, and Tion is bringing you kindergarten minutes, talking about no business has taken place in the local other than what's on the officer's report. That's a goddamn lie. You got $400,000 flowing through there every month. Don't tell me no business is being taken care of, bro. That's a lie. You understand? When the officers talking about stuff, they're not talking about spending money. They're talking about what they did for the month in the garages or with the members. But you supposed to talk about the financial health of the local and where the money is being spent and how much y'all spent for that month, and get approval for a lot of that spending. There are no votes taking place in the local for finances. So that's what I want to say. We need to get on Keith about these LM2s members. Y'all need to attend these meetings. Hold on, let me finish. If we continue down this path, they're gonna keep on railroading us because it's only 4 down there against 20. All right, go ahead, Robert, whoever that was.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. Another thing that happened, Keith said last month that he was gonna include the lawsuit that Toy Bowers filed against the local in his report, and he was gonna put the letter that he sent out regarding the receptionist being arrested. That didn't happen as well. There was no letter, there was no lawsuit, and he didn't pass out the LM2. So he lied on all 3 of those things. And members, you got to wake up. We are dealing with a pathological liar. He's a liar, he's a thief, and he's a tyrant, and we got to get rid of him.
Okay, I'd like to say a few things.
One
other thing that happened at the very end of the meeting was a discussion. President Hill, he basically said, he talked about the new mayor coming in a couple days. He said our union was invited to participate in the transition team with the mayor-elect Johnson, but that he was declining. I think he said he threw it off to our sister local 308. He speculated that Johnson wouldn't remove the CTA president Carter, and I quote him as saying, "I don't think he will make changes to CTA," unquote. Then the next paragraph or so he's speaking, or next few sentences, he says, out of one side of his mouth, he says, quote, I am not going to advocate for Dorval to stay, Dorval Carter, the president of CTA. And then out of the other side of his mouth, nearly the next sentence, in the same breath, he says, quote, Dorval is the bridge to anything going on in transit nationally. And so basically, he doesn't think that anything that will change. That may be true, but that's not good for us. Okay, I want to inform, we only have a few minutes left here. A few things going on. There's a few legal things happening. I was arrested for trespass during the election. I ran for president, and that's ongoing. It got moved to the end of this month. The next, we're going to ask for the judge to remove the charges. The return to work ULP is still pending. They claim they don't have a court stenographer, and when they do, that'll be back. I'll hopefully be back to work. I was unjustly fired a couple years ago for doing the work of a shop steward for a second time. We appealed to not just myself, but many workers, including Andre and others, appealed to International regarding the election misconduct of union officials. We also appealed, myself and several others appealed to the U.S. Department of Labor. I appealed in regards to the misconduct of CTA management. We are, at least I and a few others, are calling for the whole election to be run again, including nominations for all positions through a third party running the election. ATU International hasn't made any ruling yet. They said they weren't taking any evidence after April 14th, but I have not seen any ruling. The U.S. Department of Labor is currently investigating. If the ATU calls the election back, we could have an election within a month and a new administration elected and installed in 3 months. If that does happen, I just want to reach out to everybody. Immediately, we need to move quickly to encourage coworkers to run and fill each position, which is with as many coworkers on the ballot as possible for workers to choose. We need to discuss and agree on and write out some principles that we can hold candidates accountable. Just a few things real quick. There was 2 significant strike actions recently, or there was a strike authorization vote for about 50 workers at We Drive You, which is a shuttle bus company that has an office in Chicago. They prepared for a strike. I went almost to the last minute, and then they managed to back down. Apparently, they won a 15% raise on the first year, and many other victories by preparing to strike without having to strike. Then another union just won a strike, I think over 60 days. It was a pretty hard fought strike. UAW 588, local 588, the steel tubing company plant in the south side of Chicago. And those workers had just won the union, and they were trying to get their first contract, and finally they did. So that's a real victory for all of us. And just lastly, I'll say unjustly fired workers, I hope we can start to unite and meet perhaps once a month. If anyone is listening to this, please reach out to us and talk about what time we want to meet, where. And I think with this recent ruling for the ULP for these 20 unions, there may be and other workers coming back to work without the vaccine. I think we might be able to fight to get those hundreds of workers back to work. So I'll shut up there.
Thank you all. Please come out to the next meeting in June. We need strong numbers so we can take action.
Could you give them the date?
Yes. Yes. That date is.
Would you happen to be looking at a calendar to give us to kind of jot it down?